You do not have to keep your autoimmune disease, your mast cell activation, your chronic pain, your cellular dysfunctions, your cancer, or your allergies. And I'm going to show you the science to prove it. By the end of this video, you will have an understanding of how dis-ease happens to the body in the first place, and how you have the power to reverse it. I used to have mast cell activation, which still clinically has no cure, and has a life expectancy of less than a year. And I reversed it. Now I've been guiding others to reverse their own conditions as well. There's a reason why adopted children tend to get the same genetic disorders as their adoptive families versus their blood families. And there's a reason why you can take a set of identical twins that are born with the exact same gene expression as each other, and one can go on to live a super healthy life and one can just die early from cancer. There's a reason why people with immune disorders and chronic pain have less flare-ups on vacation. Here's the science to it. Your personal perception of the environment that you are in is what sends signals to the regulatory proteins in your body that then go to your DNA to decide what part of the DNA to copy. Each strand of your DNA basically has a sleeve over it, and those regulatory proteins decide where the sleeve should come off to see what part of the DNA to copy. And each single gene in your body can create over 3,000 different variations. So ultimately, it is the perception of your environment that causes your gene readout. And only 3% of your DNA does not change, which means that 97% of your DNA you can actually change and play with. And that's how you can get sick. You can not get sick. You can have allergies. You cannot have allergies. You can have an autoimmune disorder. You cannot have an autoimmune disorder. 97% of that changes. Only 3% doesn't change. And that's like your eye color, your hair color, things like that. Even though there have been some studies where people have been able to intentionally change their eye color. But we're not getting into that now. But it's not even your external environment that decides it. It's your perception of the external environment. A lot of people are born into families and they adapt to the same kind of subconscious thought patterns that their families had. And so they perceive their environments in the same way that the people before them that raised them did. Which is why you can have a whole family with autoimmune disorders all up the lines, and you can have a family where, oh, everybody gets heart disease and everybody gets cancer. It's not actually the genes that are responsible for that. It is the individual's perception of their external environment being so similar to their parents or their grandparents, whoever raised them, that they're causing the same condition to happen in their body as the person who raised them. What this means is that if your body was able to give you an autoimmune disorder, a cancer, mast cell activation, allergies, chronic pain, your body also has the power to reverse it. In fact, your body wants to reverse it. Your body wants to heal itself, and that might literally sound insane when your immune system's attacking itself or your body's making too many of the wrong kind of cell, but it truly does want to repair itself. The problem is your current set of subconscious programs that you live your life through that are wreaking havoc on your body and causing it to work discoherently. 95% of our thoughts throughout our entire lifetime are subconscious, meaning that you're not in direct control of 95% of your thoughts every day. You're in direct control of about 5%, and everything else is just autopilot. And when did that autopilot get programmed? If you haven't gone into theta and intentionally updated your subconscious thought patterns, the beliefs that you hold and the thought patterns that you have will have been programmed from before the age of 7. Meaning that whoever and whatever you were around before the age of 7 is mostly controlling your life. 95% of it. So everything from before the age of 7 plus any kind of trauma that you've had. So positive trauma, which there are positive traumas, big life events that are super amazing and life-changing. They call them life-changing for a reason. Positive traumas and negative traumas will also affect your subconscious. So I teach people how to go into their subconscious and update it, because otherwise it's everything from before the ages of 7 plus whatever positive or negative traumas they've had in their life, and that's what's running your life 95% of the time. You are only in control of 5% of your thoughts every day on average. This is exactly why some people will try diet changes, or they'll be like, oh, I'll just change my lifestyle and I'll like go to yoga, things like that. and then they barely see any change. Or maybe they see a little change for a little bit, and then they go right back to that 95% of subconscious programming that got them to where they were in the first place. And sometimes people have beautiful, wonderful subconscious programming, and they don't get sick, and they don't get dis-ease in their body, and they have no allergies. And if something starts going wrong, like, oh, they've got a little stress and they get a headache, and then they do make lifestyle changes or diet changes, then it fixes it because it was just a small problem in the first place. However, if you do have an autoimmune disorder, chronic pain, something that's just been building for years, mast cell activation, one of those things where the doctors don't even know what's going on because there's so many symptoms that they can't even place it, any kind of dis-ease in the body like that, for you to actually have something that big, it means that your subconscious is not programmed the way that you'd like it to be for you to be healthy. But that's no problem, because I will guide you on how to change that. In my course, How to Heal, I will guide you through practices to find the root and the roots of your body's dis-ease. I teach you how to communicate with your body. I will teach you how to communicate with your spirit guides, because you do have those and they can be a lot of help. I will guide you through transformational practices that make it exciting and enjoyable to change your body's chemistry and get to the natural state of health that your body, and I'm sure your mind, desperately desires and needs. Your body is so brilliant. When your body is not working coherently, it sends you signals. It'll give you maybe a headache. Maybe it'll give you a pain somewhere. Maybe you'll feel kind of nauseous. Maybe you'll cough. It'll send you some kind of small irritation, some kind of signal to say, hey, something's not quite right. Fix this so that we can go back to being coherent. But unfortunately, we live in a society where if we get a headache or some minor pain or like we're coughing, we usually just either ignore it, work through it, take something for it so it goes away, instead of actually finding the root of it. And a lot of times it roots in emotions. If you're sad or you're angry or you're really stressed and you're not releasing that properly, it will build physical tension in the body and cause physical incoherence in the body. And your body won't operate the way that it wants to. Did you know that every time that you are stressed and you go into like some kind of fight or flight, even if it's just someone cut you off in traffic, or a coworker said something really rude to you and it freaked you out, and now you're in like this fight or flight stress mode, your body actually requires a lot of rest just from that one situation. And what it does is it stops working on the normal things that it would be working on. When you're stressed like that, it will stop digesting, it will stop repairing cells, it will stop functioning properly, because it is sending all of the blood to your extremities so that you can fight or you can run. Because that's how we as humans are built. Because if a bear came up behind me right now, I would not want to be digesting and repairing cells, okay? And repairing damaged proteins. No. I would want to be able to run as fast as I could, or fight the bear if I was bigger or something. But the point is, every time we have a little stressor moment like that, that is what our body's doing. It's preparing for the worst, and it's stopping the repair functions that it would normally do. Which is why stress is a huge killer and leads to so many chronic illnesses and dis-eases in the body. Because we look at it like it's no big deal, and maybe you have stress all day long even, or every day, and our body is not made to do that. As our body continuously sends us signs like headaches or joint pain or, oh, my stomach hurts, it builds. When you don't find the root to that sign, it builds. And then over time, as more and more builds and more builds, and you're not giving your body what it is begging for you to do, which is to stop and look and see what it is and then fix it and not do it again or not do it as often, then these symptoms start stacking, our bodies being more and more incoherent, and eventually we just get some big thing wrong with us, like cancer or autoimmune disease. It just can't handle it anymore. It hasn't been able to repair these cells. It hasn't been able to do what it needed to do. Your body only has dis-ease because it's been trying to send you these signals for a long period of time, and they've been ignored. Because usually we don't even know that they're signals to follow or a puzzle treasure hunt to figure out what's going on and stop it. Usually we're just like, oh, this is annoying. I have a headache. but it builds and it builds and it builds, and then eventually you just have this giant light up huge sign, hey, you have to change something. The immune system's attacking itself. You're making way too many cells of this and it's turning into mast cell activation or cancer. Or now we're just gonna start thinking all foods are foreign and we're gonna start just attacking them. Those are huge, huge signs. Your body is sending you a gigantic light up sign saying, help fix the root of the problem. There are so many ways that people get dis-ease in the body. And just like how you can get dis-ease in your body, you can then reverse it. Sometimes it's chronic stress, or maybe it's stress from your job and stress from having kids. Don't worry, I can show you how to change your perception. In my course, How to Heal, I will guide you through practices that teach you and reshape your neural pathways and change your subconscious so that your perceptions can easily be more relaxed and happier instead of those perceptions of constant stress. Sometimes dis-ease in the body can come from one huge traumatic event, like a divorce, a betrayal, a death. Sometimes it's a whole string of traumatic events. Sometimes it's just tons of repressed emotions. And for a lot of people, it's a combination of all of these things. I have so many practices and I can't wait to guide you through them as you start discovering what the roots of your dis-ease are. And then that way you can fix them and release them and let your body be the healthy body that it has been begging you with all of these signs and signals to be. With my course, How to Heal, I guide you step by step through processes where we figure out what is the root, what is going on, and a lot of times there's a lot of roots. We figure out what they are. I have practices where then we rewire your neural pathways so that it's easier for you to have a better perception of your environment so that way you can have better genetics being picked. And I also guide you through retraining your subconscious mind, which is that 95% that then affects your nervous system and your genetic readouts. Retraining your subconscious is so powerful. It is that 95% of your thoughts throughout the day. And when you retrain your subconscious, and when you find and let go of limiting beliefs that you may not have even known were there before, not only does your body go back into repair mode because now it's relaxed and now it's not getting mixed signals from all over the place, but it's so much easier for you to just effortlessly be happy as well. Because when you start letting go of limiting beliefs, so many of them can be like, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, I can't heal. You'd be surprised how many people deep down will hold the beliefs that they're miserable or they just don't even want to be alive, and how that will affect the body and make them more miserable, bring them more pain, and end up showing up in a way like allergies or an autoimmune disease where it's hard to be alive. Your body is begging you to listen to the signs that it is sending you. So as soon as you do start making these changes, it starts repairing itself and making healthy proteins and making healthy cells and creating healthier DNA sequences. And then bam, your body's healthy and you're happy and you no longer have the dis-ease. So join my course, How to Heal, and let's get your body back to the way it wants to be.